Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaitlyn. I am 35 years old and I live in Maryland. I am sharing everything on my fertility journey to becoming a single mom by choice. I started this channel because I thought that it would be helpful for those that may be going through fertility treatments and just the trials and tribulations of that, because it is not an easy road and it's emotionally, mentally, and physically taxing. But then also wanted to start this channel for other people looking to become a single mom by choice and start that journey. I found videos as I was making this decision that really helped me. So if I can help one person, then that is an added benefit of this channel. It will also be something that I can look back on in the future and kind of rewatch my journey. So on my last video, you'll know that I had 3 IUIs that were not successful. I thought I have no fertility issues. I just don't have a man. All of my tubes are open. I build a great lining. I build a great follicle. Like, there is no issues here other than the fact that I don't have sperm. So I underwent an IUI, first natural cycle, and that was unsuccessful. My second cycle, I did 2.5 milligrams of letrozole, which was also unsuccessful. And then my third cycle ultimately got canceled because of COVID. On my fourth cycle, we ended up doing 5 milligrams of letrozole. I thought it was a mistake, so I did 2.5 milligrams the first 2 days and 5 milligrams day 3 through 5. I ended up having multiple follicles grow. I think I had 4. Only 2 were really in range, but 2 were pretty close behind. So we triggered me a little bit early so that the other ones wouldn't grow and get caught up. And ultimately that didn't work either. So I was trying to make a decision, am I going to do a 4th IUI or am I going to jump into IVF? And that was a decision that I actually found really hard to make. I was leaning towards IVF just based on the success rate and the fact that the IUIs hadn't worked. They were costing me money and also just emotionally draining. And I wanted something with a better success rate. And I wanted that peace of mind that I had embryos made and I have babies there and just need a transfer to work. I think making the decision to move to IVF was a fairly easy decision. Where it got hard is this program that I was going to do. My clinic has a variety of different programs. I'm using a very large clinic in the DMV area, and they have a single cycle, which ultimately, if everything goes perfect from start to finish, from the retrieval, PGT testing, transfer, it's about $22,000 from start to finish. They have a multi-cycle discount, which is 2 retrievals and making embryos for about $24,000. But that doesn't include the PGT biopsy and that doesn't include your transfers. Or actually that may include your unlimited transfers in that program. But that program wasn't really anything I ever considered, just based on the fact that they have a shared risk program. Now, the shared risk program is basically a guarantee. It sounds really cheesy and it sounds like Amazon, but they guarantee up to 6 stimulated IVF cycles and unlimited transfers. And if you are unsuccessful, have a miscarriage, you can ultimately get your money back. So that gave me peace of mind that I was protected and I wasn't going to waste any more money without bringing my baby home. So ultimately, I ended up going with the shared risk program. Now, there are a few caveats that I don't really love about it. First being that you have to pay all of the $29,000 up front, which is a substantial amount of money. The second is that they will not allow you to do another retrieval or cycle until you transferred all your embryos. So let's say I go through this next retrieval and I'm able to make 2 embryos. The first transfer doesn't work, and I want to do another retrieval to ultimately make embryos for the future and have future siblings possibly and have that available. I can't do that until I do another transfer. The one bonus side though is if my body is tapped out from doing the retrievals, I could take the 7 eggs that I have frozen from a retrieval I did back in March and thaw those, and that would count as one of my 6 cycles. So there are pros and cons to it for sure. And ultimately, if I'm just burnt out, if I meet somebody, if I just don't want to do this path anymore, as long as I don't have embryos made, I can withdraw at any time and get my $29,000 back, which to me was the peace of mind that I wanted and needed. Also, because the first egg retrieval did not go well, I didn't want to be in that position of something not going perfect and then stressing myself out over it, that I spent all this money and I'm going to get nothing out of it. It's not going to have the best chance of success. And then I'm going to have to spend more money. It's very nice knowing that while it was a lot of money, it's done. It's over with. It's paid for. The only thing that I have to pay for moving forward is meds for retrievals and for transfers. So that is reassuring. The other complicated part of it too is it's funny, right? Because every time you get to this point where you're at a crossroads and you need to make a decision, and other people who might be on the single mom by choice train that want to date, I know some people that choose that path have no interest in dating. They're very dead set on this decision. It's still a very hard thing for me. I ultimately wanted that fairy tale. I wanted to meet someone. I wanted to do this with a partner. I wanted someone by my side through this. I'm doing this alone. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of emotions going through it alone. I have a great support system with friends and family, but it's just different, I think, when you have a significant other and you're in this together. And of course, once my last IUI didn't work, I have a lot of guy friends that I have been interested in dating, and we have dated in the past, kind of come out of the woodwork and kind of just dangle the carrot, and not that I'm waiting for them, because I'm not going to wait for somebody that hasn't made me a priority in the past. If ultimately this baby comes into my life, they have to take the package deal, and the right person will be okay with the package deal. It just also messes with your head a little bit. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I rushing things? Am I being impatient and just need to kind of explore and need to date? And maybe it's not any one of these people. Maybe it's getting back on the dating apps. Am I cutting myself short for this path and not opening myself up to other options? Because I think when you're spending so much money, you're like laser focused, right? Like, I spent all of this money. I want this. This is my goal. I'm going for it. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. But there is still that grief of, I wish I was doing it with someone. Now, I think that you can have it both ways, right? Like, you can be excited about the path that you're on and be excited about the future of holding that little baby and starting your family. And I think you can also be sad that it's not exactly the way you thought it was going to be. I think two things can be true, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But that's where we are right now. So I am starting IVF, and I started basically this week and wanted to share that with you. I know this is getting to be a really long video. So I started my IVF journey this week. Protocol is very different than my last egg freezing, and I am hopeful that we're going to have better quality and a higher quantity of eggs this time around. So protocol is a little different. Instead of going on birth control, I am doing Lupon injections for 9 days before I start stims. So it was interesting because I started Lupon after I ovulated, where the birth control you would start when you start your period. So that was kind of a different idea to me, but I am doing 10 units, I think. I don't know if it's units, milliliters, I don't know. I'm just going to call it 10 units for the purpose of this video, of Lupron injections in the morning. I'm going to do that for 9 days. And then I go back in on the 11th for my pre-med appointment to start stims. So fingers crossed, everything looks good. Hormone levels are good. I don't have any cysts, and we can start the stims, and my retrieval will likely be between the 22nd and 24th. I was supposed to be going home to see my family. That obviously had to get pushed because I was going to be right in the middle of my stims when I was going to go. And that just wasn't gonna work, especially if anyone's been through an egg retrieval. I mean, you get to a point where you're in there every single day for blood work and monitoring. And I thought it would just be better to wait until the retrieval was over. So I do have a flight already planned for the 24th. So fingers crossed that the egg retrieval is before that. It will be really nice to go home and see my family and just kind of decompress from the egg retrieval and be off any meds and be able to just relax and wait for that call as to how many embryos made it to day 5. So that's where we're at right now. Ultimately, I would love to do a transfer following this retrieval, hopefully before Christmas. I am going to do a frozen embryo transfer because I am electing to do PGT testing. And so that's all set up. So lots of new things to share, lots of exciting things. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to do a cost of IVF video, whether that be the cost of the different programs, just to kind of give you a ballpark, or cost of meds. Meds can range too, depending on your insurance. Now, I am somebody who, like I said, I live in Maryland, but my company is based in Virginia. My company also does not have any health care or health coverage or insurance coverage for IVF or fertility treatment. So I am paying this 100% self-pay, no insurance coverage. And if you kind of want to know what that looks like, I'm happy to do a video. It's not always super relatable to people in case you have insurance. It just is my story and what I'm paying for out of pocket. But ultimately would be happy to share all of that information if that's something that you would be interested in. And I will also post a video next week when I start my stims. But thanks so much for watching and coming along with me for this journey. And we are in this together. And I know so many of you are also going through IVF, IUIs in your 2-week wait. And I thank you so much for your comments and sharing your stories with me. They are so touching, and it just makes me feel not so alone in this, and it's nice that we have each other, and I'm hoping to build this community where we all can be a support system for each other. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.